I've never been to the Tower of London because I've never been to London, but I have been to the Half Price Books in Richardson, Texas, which is where I found this. Outrage, Steal the Crown Jewels. Now, as a connoisseur of weird and unusual games, my Spency senses began tingling when I spotted this game and discovered that this is the official board game of the Tower of London. It says so right here on the box. So how did this end up in a secondhand shop halfway across the world? Well, that's a question I won't answer in this video. However, today we will take a closer look at the first souvenir board game I've ever seen and determine if it's a hidden treasure or something truly outrageous. Hello everybody, my name is Spencer, I'm with Game Nerdz, and in this episode of Rolling Retro, we're going to London, England to meet the king and steal his jewels. So let's begin by taking a look at this box here, Outrage. Steal the crown jewels. Thanks for telling me what to do, game. We've got our crown jewels, got the holy hand grenade here, and there's like a Phantom of the Opera mask, but what is this right here? I don't understand why there are these spooky eyes, who knows? So yeah, this is a striking cover. I want to look at here on the side of the box. Using handcrafted pieces, including gold-plated replicas of the crown jewels. I wonder what that actually means. This family game for 2 to 6 players challenges you to use all your skill and cunning to steal the jewels and escape. See base of box. Okay, well, I've never seen a continued on back of box before, but we'll see what that means. Age range 8 to adult. So we're going to the back of the box here. We have here a history lesson. At 7 o'clock on a May morning in 1671, a cloaked man. So maybe that was the cloaked man on the front with the eyes. He was the cloaked man. He was disguised as a parson. He arrived at the tower to meet Talbot Edwards, blah, 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 blah. No one cares about history. Basically, you know that some guy, someday, hundreds of years ago, tried to steal the crown jewels. And it just continues on. Oh, this is my favorite right here. One accomplice filed the scepter in half while the other stuffed the orb down his breeches. Anyway, treason, the crown is stolen. So I guess that outraged everybody. So what we're trying to do here in the game is succeed where they failed. Wow, look at that beautiful board. Cards, pieces. This is not suitable, by the way, for children under the age of 36 months because of small components. We've got our date here from Imperial Games 1992, and I'm told here, please retain for information. So don't ever get rid of this box because of information. One thing I did notice on the box is it does provide the age range, but there's no time range on it. I don't know. Does that bode well for how long it takes to play this game? I don't know. You were like, we don't care. Just play the game. It may take 2 minutes. It may take 30 hours. Let's see what's inside. Lifting the box. Outrage. All right, we've got one big page folded in half. Lots of text, no images. I guess there's some little ones right there of each of the crown jewels. We'll look at that later. Here is the board. I got it. Oh, I can smell. Ew, it smells bad. I can smell the decay wafting from the box as I open the lid. Ooh, it smells like a half-price books. Look at the board. This is the Tower of London, as I'm told. And we've got the River Thames down here, or Thames, if you're part of the Game Nerdz Studios. And lots of spaces here. We've got various towers. Looks pretty cool. I think this is probably going to be pretty accurate to the layout. What I love down here is we have a shop. If you land here, you have to buy a guidebook and miss a turn. I'm assuming this is also where you buy Outrage. Let's take a look at the gold-plated replicas and see just how much of a replica they are. Look at that. That's incredible. And it's hefty. Like it's actually It's heavy. It's got some weight to it. Okay, so there's the holy hand grenade. Let's look at, oh, look at this one. It's so shiny. And this is from 1992, and it still has its sheen. It hasn't corroded. That's because it's gold-plated. I'm going to gold-plate everything from now on. I'm going to gold-plate all my board games so they don't decay. Look at this. It's got the felt in it and everything. It feels like felt. It's not plastic. Okay, let's see how this works. Ready? I am the king. Wait a minute. I am the king and queen. So those are some of the things that we're stealing. Oh, here's some more. Here is a scepter. So that was a missed opportunity. Here, let me do this again. I sept you with my scepter. Or you are... Oh, wait, do they knight with this thing? You are now... Okay. All right. And then we have... Oh, the sword. Oh, that's right, because every time they do it, they use a sword. Every time they do it, it goes from one to the other, and I'm always afraid they're going to decapitate someone. Oh, and then we've got... Look at these. Metal coins. They were doing this long before Scythe did. These are actual metal coins. This is not a deluxe version, by the way. This is just how it came. And then we've got these are the yeoman warders. Look at these guys. They got their hands on their hips like, don't you do anything now. Now, these guys aren't gold-plated, but they're still just as valuable in my heart. We've got 4 of them. Yeoman warders. All right, let's move over here to this side and take a look at these dice. Wow, these have some weight to them. I don't know, like they look like normal dice, but they feel heavier. All I'm seeing here is an incredible production value. Kickstarter could never do. This game is definitely funded by the king and queen themselves. Finally, we've got some other pieces. We got some cards. These are the Raven cards. These are gonna go over here on the board. This says, imprisoned in the Beecham Tower, or the chief yeoman warder passes by you. Oh, I like this one. So look at this. Look at this. You run out of film. So you go to the shop to buy more. So you have, from wherever you're at, you have to go to the shop that we saw at the beginning, which confirms my suspicion that this is a modern day setting. While you are at the Tower of London, being a tourist, you're trying to steal the crown jewels. I love that image of this dude with the fanny pack, Mickey Mouse ears, and sandals with socks on, stealing the crown jewels. And then we have another deck of cards, tower cards. These are stuff for attacking. Probably going to be for... Yeah, look. So that dude with the fanny pack, he's packing dynamite in there. And he's going to use that to steal the jewels. And while he's at it, he's got his mace that he's going to smack anyone else trying to steal from him. All kinds of fun stuff in here. Oh yeah, don't forget about the crossbow. Packing heat. Here are little player pieces. This is how we're going to move around the board. Let me turn this around. You start out as this little castle, and I cheated. I have actually already played the game and read the rules. And so you're going to run around, and then at some point you need to go to the queen, or the queen's house at least, and get accredited. And when you do, you get a little flag. Flag equals accreditation. And until that point, you can't move anywhere you want. But once you get accredited, you can move around the board in any direction that you want. So all of these rules here are basically telling you that this is a roll and move game. That's what all games from this era were for the most part. But the challenge is you're going to start out here, and of course, you can play up to 6 players. Our copy of the game was short a piece. I should probably return it and get my money back, but that's okay. You're going to start here, and you have to go all the way around the outside edge of the tower before you can even get in and get accredited, as I mentioned. And then you're going to work your way over here to the white tower. Once you get in here, you can only go one direction, like the band. And then you're going to come in here and try to steal one of these crown jewels where they are stored. But if you don't roll right, you can just move right past them, and you have to come back and go all the way around. I kid you not, that's happened a couple of times when we've played, is when you get here and if you roll beyond a 6, you have to come back again. And you're just strolling by, and other tourists are walking by, and they're like, hey, that guy's been here before. Why is he coming back here looking suspicious with his fanny pack that's stuffed to the brim with something? But anyway, you need to steal a jewel and collect a piece of silver, because then in order to escape, you have to pay the ferry guy, the guy that runs the ferry, Ferry, silver to escape. So get in, get silver, get a jewel, and escape all before your opponents do. Now that's the short version of the game. The long version of the game is you go until all of the jewels are stolen, and then at the end, whoever has stolen the most jewels wins. Never played that. That's too long. Because essentially what happens is you got people rolling dice, and anything can happen, especially with the Raven cards that send you random places. You can attack each other. You can steal jewels from each other. I would not want to play a game that lasts until all of the jewels are stolen. Meanwhile, you might be thwarted by these yeoman warders, and they have their very specific posts here, and they block your way, and the only way to get by them is either for a Raven card to move them, or you play a disguise card. There's that Phantom of the Opera mask we saw. So yeah, you can, if you're wearing this, you can go by the warder. Oh, nothing strange here. You belong here wearing that mask. I think one of my favorite parts of the game actually is this rule that I've never seen in any game before of if you roll a 7, you can split that up between moving yourself however many spaces you want and your opponent, one of your opponents, the other amount that adds up to 7. So you can make them land on a space that's like miss a turn, or go to the torture chamber, or go to prison. It's just a fascinating way to take what's a standard roll and move and make it more of a take that game, which there's a lot of take that already with many of the cards that you can play and attacking each other to try to steal the things that they've already captured. Despite all of that, I would say that this game is actually pretty fun. Yes, it's roll and move. Yes, there's take that. Yes, there are random card effects that can completely mess you up that you could never possibly plan for. However, here's a big but. None of that mattered, and I think it's because of the atmosphere and mindset we all had. Now, we didn't expect it to be a mechanically solid game. We wanted to have a fun experience and didn't focus on winning. We did mean things to each other and lamented when things didn't go according to plan, but did all of those things in a really melodramatic way. Another thing I'll say is the turns went quickly and the game had a really good pace to it, so it never felt like a slog or anything like that. Now, don't misunderstand me. There's a reason Outrage didn't win the Spiel des Jahres or any prestigious honor like that, but I know that I and my colleagues have had many fun moments playing the game.
Run out of film? Run out of film.
He has to go back
to the shop and buy more.
Honestly, it was way more fun than it had any right to be. However, I think we might be in the minority here. So let's take a look at reviews on Board Game Geek to see what the consensus is. All right, so here we are on the Outrage page on Board Game Geek. We have a 4.9 for average rating, less than half, so people don't like it apparently. But it's ranked overall at 26,504. The designer is uncredited, so there's not an actual designer here. But we came here to see the comments, so let's do that. Let's start off with the ones. Those are always my favorite. I've got some of my favorites picked out here. This is from Boltana. Gift from the wife that honestly is the sole reason this one hasn't been shredded. Can you imagine telling that, hey, sweetie, thanks. Just you giving this to me is the only reason why I haven't destroyed it. Thanks for the gift, though. Next is from Board Gamist. This was left in April of 2013. I bought it at a thrift store for $2. Oh well, we decided to put it away halfway through and pull out something else. One play was enough. No, you didn't even play it one time. You played it half time. It wasn't one play, it was half play. So I don't think your review is valid. Finally here, we've got Jason Matthews. This is the last one I want to highlight. This is from April of 2004. Outrage, exactly how I describe it. Man. Jason, I hope you are doing better. I mean, it is called Outrage with an exclamation mark. Outrage! Let's go on to some twos here. This is from W. Cover from August of 2010. A gift from a thriftaholic who found it in an American secondhand store. Weird. It's only appropriate that a game containing torture devices should be physically and mentally debilitating. Brutal. My favorite card in the game by far. Confession. You are released from torture. Exchange places with another player who will suffer instead. I don't remember that one. Next time, I'm playing with a variant where you can play the confession card on an onlooker to force them to take your place in this horrible game. Now that would be awesome. All right. That's enough negativity. Let's go to the people celebrating Outrage. This is from Cherry B from April of 2022, not that long ago. We've played this several times with friends, and it is always fun. Enjoy the strategies involved, and having a duel of sorts is always fun. I agree. And then we've got Freak for Goofy. Been wanting this game for over 10 years. Finally got it this year, and it didn't disappoint. So there is some love here. Dr. Zero Presents says, a longtime family favorite. It's not all doom and gloom, but mostly is doom and gloom. All right, well, now's the part of the show where we look into the background of the game to see if we can understand it a little bit better. First of all, who is the publisher, Imperial Games? The answer to that question is, I don't know. I don't think they are around anymore. I can't find any website or online presence. I did discover from looting.org that Imperial Games published a total of 3 games, Outrage in 92, Word Spin Scramble in 96, and Zany in 1996. Maybe it's the official publishing wing of the Tower of London, and maybe they had plans for more games. Maybe a game about building the tower from the very beginning, or surviving the plague in the tower, or running a zoo in the tower. That's actually not a joke. There is evidence that King John, from 1166 to 1216, first started keeping wild animals at the tower, and records from that time show payments to lion keepers. There's also evidence that lynxes, leopards, elephants, and even a polar bear were kept there. Actually, that sounds like a pretty amazing idea for a game. Zoo Tower of London, make it happen, Dr. Knizia. But for now, we have Outrage, and while it does seem that the publisher is no longer around and the game is no longer sold at the Tower of London gift shop, I did check, wasn't on the website. You can still find copies on eBay. There's a new and shrink listing for around $50 and a pocket version for much less. Now, here is the fact of the show. If Tower of London history really gets your heart pumping, you could invest in the deluxe version of Outrage. This version is entirely handmade in the UK. The playing pieces are all made from solid 18-karat gold or sterling silver, and where appropriate, set with rubies, emeralds, sapphires, and diamonds. The case is handmade out of solid wood with a brass handle and a lock. The complete set comes in a sturdy carrying case. You can buy this on inspiredtreasures.co.uk, and it will only set you back about £19,000, or for us in the US, $24,000. Now that's a deluxe edition. Kickstarter could never produce that. In fact, they haven't, because the deluxe version of Outrage Steal the Crown Jewels holds the Guinness World Record for being the most expensive board game. Wow! The things you learn from a short trip to half-price books just to make some board game content. Well, that about does it for this episode of Rolling Retro. What are your thoughts on Outrage? Would you play it? Would you drop $24K on the deluxe version? Let me know in the comments. Now, as the self-appointed king of this video, be sure to like and subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can be notified anytime we upload a new video to the Game Nerdz YouTube channel. Once again, my name is Spencer, and I'm off to steal the crown jewels. I'm coming for you.